I resent my wife and being a father, so I lie to get out of doing things. This feels terrible, and like avoiding the consequences of my actions, but I can't help what I feel. Me and my wife have been together for 9 years, married for 7. Early in our marriage I thought I was ready to be a dad, and we started trying. Soon she was pregnant, and suddenly I panicked. I realized I wasn't actually ready to be a dad, and I didn't want that. I didn't want the sleepless nights, the hard work, the responsibility. So, when she had a miscarriage, I admit, I was relieved. My wife never really acted like she was super into motherhood. Her approach was mostly, if it happens, it happens. But after the miscarriage she had the opposite reaction to me. She really wanted to become a mother now. We had many difficult conversations where I explained I didn't want to sacrifice everything parenthood required me to sacrifice. I loved her. Our life together, kids would only make everything worse. She, for her part, told me she felt broken and like less of a woman because she couldn't bear children, and didn't know if she ever could. I told her it was the entirely wrong reason to bring life into this world. It felt very selfish, and like she'd regret it. She, for her part, threatened me with divorce. Eventually I caved. We started trying. Almost as soon as I breathed in her general direction unprotected, she got pregnant again. Pregnancy went smoothly, but the birth was an absolute nightmare. It took forever, anesthesia failed, she tore her pelvic floor, she had preeclampsia, almost died. I was terrified that I would lose her, and that was going to be raising that child on my own. I never wanted to go through that again. Yes, I realized that obviously it was worse for her, but the difference is that she went through all that for something she really wanted, whereas I was basically dragged into it. But as soon as our daughter came out, I cried. She was the most beautiful, amazing thing I had ever seen. I loved her immediately. Still, raising her has really hard. At first I had to do it practically by myself as my wife had to recover from the complications of the birth. She, our daughter, got sick a lot, and there were many sleepless nights. When my wife finally did start pitching in, she never stopped complaining. Maybe there was some postpartum depression there too, I don't know. Still, when our daughter was 7 months old, and my wife still kept complaining about how it was all so hard, so bad, I snapped at her. She kept harping at me for months about how she couldn't be truly happy without being a mom. Why was I doing all the work? Why was she always miserable? And anyway, complaining about me is one thing, but about our daughter? Constantly saying what a difficult child she was, what a little goblin, etc. How was any of this her fault? I told her, I told you so, which went over about as well as you'd expect. So I didn't bring it up again. Besides, my wife was making more than me, and our parents aren't around. Mine died, hers were not in contact with over some very bad shit. So I quit my job to raise our kid at some point. Me. I quit my job so that she could experience the true joy of motherhood. I only got back to it when she was 3. By that point things calmed down slightly. And we were finding our balance finally. And it was actually a lot of fun. Our daughter is really cute and it's so much fun taking her places since she basically enjoys everything, and it's fun constantly getting free desserts, being fawned over for raising such a great kid. I was happy again. After a rough patch I could finally say I loved my life. And then my wife started complaining that it wasn't fair to only bring one child into the world. She needed a sibling like she, my wife, has. I retorted that, as my wife keeps reminding me, her sister is a really selfish person and is never there for her. Bringing another kid is going to be even harder, since it's not like our daughter is old enough to take care of herself. It's going to be hell, and she's going to be miserable. For a while I held my ground, but then her sister got pregnant, second kid, so out came the threats of divorce again. Again, I caved, because now it wasn't just about her, it meant she'd take my daughter away too. Well, again we got pregnant super easy. This time. At least, the birth went fine. But, look, I'm not proud of this. It's not a comfortable thing for a parent to admit, but my son did not evoke the same reaction. I was just kinda numb when he was born. My son being a very fussy baby doesn't help. And whenever he starts crying at night, all I can think of is, go to sleep. I did not want you. I did not want this. And I admit, I'm not taking on the brunt of childcare on myself this time. Wife is still on maternity leave and is absolutely miserable, but I'm not stepping up this time. I think me letting her avoid facing just how hard raising a child can be last time might be what got us here, so instead I checked out. I lied about work being really busy, having to work long hours to get out of taking care of the baby getting up at night. Instead, I just sit at my work desk, play games on my laptop, or watch Netflix a few hours every day before going home. When I'm home, I keep complaining about how tired I am from work. By the time I finish cooking, putting our daughter to bed, doing the dishes, it's time to go to bed. Whenever my wife asks me to get up for the baby more, I explain that I really need to be at my best for work, so I can't. When my wife brought up her maternity leave ending, 6 months here, I just shrugged, said I guess she's going to have to consider leaving her job, because I did that once. I have no intention of doing it again. I like my job, am doing well, have absolutely no intention of leaving it. We can get a nanny if she wants. She got pretty upset at that, and talk of divorce came up, but at this point she went to that well one time too many. If she thinks she can do better on her own, I wish her luck. Hell, as Iacredi said, I even suggested we get a nanny, she refuses outright. So at this point she can just sleep in the bed she made. Or at least she would if our youngest let her get any sleep. Her sister, unsurprisingly, is busy with her own kids and is completely unavailable. So this is where we stand. I do underhanded crap to get time to myself every day so that my wife can fully experience the joy of motherhood, while she is absolutely miserable. I hope this at least dissuades any notions of a third kid, and I know what some of you are going to say, I should have communicated honestly, and well, I tried it, again and again. All I got was explanations about how she couldn't possibly be happy without being a mother, then by only having one kid. If me communicating is only going to lead to threats of divorce, well, I hope she is happy now that she got what she wanted. But it isn't what I wanted. And I'm done. I'm not really looking for advice, and maybe I'm the worst person ever for doing this, but I just wanted to share this. Thank you for reading.